Hello and welcome back to the channel. A different story. I thought I would cover this story about the Cleveland Guardians. So what's the real story here? Are they actually struggling to attract fans, or is their attendance actually up? It depends on who you ask. Look at this article here from Outkick. Cleveland Guardians struggling to attract fans, ratings after name change. But then you have this here. Oh, actually, attendance and interest is up for the Cleveland Guardians from 2021. It's an interesting qualifier there. Let's dive into the story. As a result of years of pressure from activist groups, several years ago, the Cleveland baseball franchise announced they would soon be changing the team's name. Naturally, the team prominently declared its commitment to the correct motivations, suggesting that unity and community explained their decision. We believe our organization is at best when we can unify our community and bring people together. The problem with this thought is that if you're unifying your community, well, you didn't do a very good job. And here's the other thing. The people on Twitter are not your community. You shouldn't fucking listen to those people. They're just a bunch of blabbermouths. They're just a bunch of angry people. They're a bunch of yakking heads that don't really exist. They don't come to your games. Those aren't your fucking fans. They are people who just exist to bitch and complain about things. So after 100 years as the Cleveland Indians, oh my God, I said it. I'm going to get canceled now. The team started to play in 2022 as the Cleveland Guardians. What a fucking horrific name. Well, if the numbers are to be believed, it's possible that the fans might not have taken kindly to the rebranding efforts. Local TV ratings for the newly christened Guardians have dropped dramatically. With one report placing the number at minus 30%, that's not exactly winning, people. That's the third biggest decline of any team in the league, with only the Oakland Athletics and the rapidly fading San Francisco Giants doing worse. MLB ratings overall have been flat, so that's interesting. MLB ratings are flat, TV viewership and attendance is flat, and yet certain organizations are not doing well. The Guardians, however, have seen their numbers fall precipitously. It's not just ratings, in-person attendance is down significantly from previous years as well. There's another qualifier there, previous years. Okay, so which years are we talking about? Well, let's get into that. In 2019, the last pre-pandemic season where they actually, had fairly normal attendance, the team averaged 21,465 fans per game. This year so far, the average attendance has fallen to 15,000 attendees. That's pretty significant, if you ask me. Now, if these numbers continue, that would mark the non-COVID low point for the franchise since they moved to their new ballpark in 1994. So if we look at this graph here, which I think is pretty telling, and we look at this right here, then we actually see that, yes, attendance is up slightly from 2021 by about 2,000 people. But here's the thing. You were going to unify your entire fan base. You were trying for unity and community, and you got an extra 2,000 people to show up to your games. That was it. Apparently, your unity community rebranding didn't actually work, because otherwise you should have gotten a significant bump, but you did not. And let's face it, the decline probably from in 2021 from this, was just this post-COVID, right? People had stopped going anywhere. A lot of people were still scared to go anywhere. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going anywhere and everywhere I want. Texas was one of the first places to open back up, and we went everywhere. But it's okay, because we went everywhere even when everything was closed and we weren't supposed to go anywhere. All right, so it might be tempting to blame the low numbers on poor results this season. But actually, the Guardians are currently in second place in the American League Central, only 2 games behind the first place Minnesota Twins. So they're actually, they're not performing great, but they're not performing terribly. They're basically meeting or slightly beating expectations. They haven't wildly exceeded expectations. They've hovered well within the range of a possible playoff. They seem like they're doing pretty solid compared to, in this season. Obviously, this is better territory to be in up here, but they're not doing terribly. I guess that's the point. But attendance has generally been lower across Major League Baseball this season. lower than in 2019, but Cleveland in particular is outpacing the average decline. So that's important. There is lower attendance. There's lower attendance than in 2019. We saw that in 2021, and now we're in 2022. We're still seeing lower attendance compared to the pre-pandemic attendance levels. But I think at this point, people are in this economic issues, right? We're in the middle of a terrible economy and people are trying to tighten their belts. And guess what? Attendance at baseball games is not high up on the list for things that need to happen. So if you got to sacrifice something, it's probably going to be attending a game. You could still possibly watch a lot of the games on television, and that's definitely going to be cheaper. You can subscribe to one of these packages to get all the games in a year for the cost of what it would be to attend essentially one game. So get rid of your season tickets, just buy a subscription to a TV service and watch all the games there. In 2019, non-Indians attendance averaged 28,436. This year, that number is 26,582. So it's interesting that that is down 2,000 on average. Meanwhile, attendance for the Cleveland franchise has plummeted 30% from 2019, and that really is the thing to focus on. Look at this graph. This is down significantly from pre-pandemic levels, but also look at this. This is down compared to any attendance going all the way back to 1994. Even their worst year in 2010. 2022 is still below that, which is pretty terrible. So much for unity and community. So what do these people over on the other side actually have to say about this? Well, they say, oh, but you see attendance is actually up this year. Yeah, again, we covered that though. The Guardians are averaging 2,000 more fans per game this year than last year. But overall, they're still down 30% from pre-pandemic levels, and that is significantly more that they are down than Major League Baseball overall, which is only down on average 2,000 attendees. So look, they are down 30% compared to MLB being down about 2,000. That's pretty significant. What else do these people have to say? Well, I love this part here. Well, why are television ratings down slightly for Cleveland Guardians? Again, they say slightly. They use terms like slightly when we see that they're actually down significantly. Again, these are qualifier words that they're using to try and soften and change the meaning of what's actually happening here. And then they put this in, and this is pretty telling when you see the stories where people are like, yeah, it's actually up. Well, if you're reading a politically motivated sports rag, look, everybody is reporting on numbers. This isn't anything to do with political motivations. These are the fucking numbers, people. Read them and weep, all right? You didn't get your unity, you didn't get your community, and you didn't get anything from your fucking rebranding. It's shit. Your attendance is shit. And that's the truth. That's the simple fact. Your attendance is down, way, way down. You didn't get anything except about 2,000 people from your rebranding. At best, that's best case scenario. That could just be the normal bump that people are finally starting to feel comfortable and attend games again because the media has kind of let go this whole thing of trying to fearmonger everybody because of the pandemic. They're done with that. So they're trying to move on from that. They're trying to change their messaging because the fearmongering is not helping them anymore. All right, that's all that is. And you got a measly 2,000 bump out of that. And overall, you're down 30% still. So look, they talk about rainouts, they talk about rain delays, they talk about games getting shifted. And certainly that can have an impact on television ratings. Certainly that can have an impact on games when there's a lot of double headers because there's been a lot of delays. But overall, you have to look at the big picture. And even though you're up slightly, you're up a couple of grand in attendance from last year, you're still down 30% from pre-pandemic levels. You are down, you're at your lowest point in the history of the franchise, except for last year, which was, basically probably affected again because people were still scared about the plague, because everybody in the media was still fearmongering about it. I think it's pretty easy to see that this unity and community and this bullshit rebranding that the Cleveland Guardians went through didn't help them out. It didn't have the desired effect. And this is what happens when you listen to a bunch of jackasses on Twitter. Fuck those guys. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they don't spend their money on shit. They're not real people, too. Probably half or better are bots. This is what we're starting to find out from Elon Musk. He's starting to shine the flashlight, and we're seeing the roaches scurry. We're seeing them all over the floor. And the truth is that these people on Twitter, half are bots. And even if it's not half, it's a significant quantity are bots. And then the rest don't fucking care about your shit. They only care about their shit. And then when they're done with that, they go to another thing and they yell and scream about that, but they don't actually care about any of this stuff. They don't care about comics. They don't care about movies. They don't care about baseball games. They don't care about any of this shit. They hate everyone equally. I guess they are truly equality type people because they hate everyone and everything equally. So that's my comments on this whole Cleveland Guardians thing. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you want to continue to smash the narrative, like Cleveland is hopefully smashing baseballs out of the park, but it doesn't look like one thing they're not smashing is their attendance records. Well, if you want to continue to smash a narrative, unlike the Guardians, then smash the like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. If you want to support the channel, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/Brett Smashy and show your support.